I'm Taylor, and today I'm going to show you how easy it is to do kefir. So a lot of people haven't heard of kefir. What they are is they're ancient grains, they're called. It's a microorganism, a culture of bacteria that ferments milk. So the origin of them is kind of unknown. Scientists can't even trace it back. They're centuries upon centuries old, millennia old, probably. But what they do is they ferment the milk and they turn it into kefir. Kefir is good in the fridge for up to 8 to 9 months. It's super great for your health. It's sort of nature's way of getting your probiotics. So there's up to 50 different bacterial yeasts in kefir. So this is kind of what it looks like when it's done. You see this one's starting to turn to curds and whey. You see the liquid at the bottom? That's the whey. So it's ready to be strained out. So what you do, you take your kefir. With me I have just a Pyrex jar here, and I also have a plastic strainer. You always want to use plastic because there's something about metal that irritates the grains. So I always choose a plastic strainer and just a rubber spatula to kind of move it around. And then I have a clean jar here to put the grains in once I strain them out, and then I'll put those in with fresh milk. So first step is you just take after it's been fermenting, and it only takes 24 hours to ferment. So once I add these grains to some new milk, the next day around the same time they'll be ready to strain out again. So it only takes about a day. And these grains are going to grow and multiply over time. So eventually it'll ferment too quickly because there'll be too many grains for the jar, and you'll have to split them up a little bit. I usually try to give mine away if I can. Give them, anybody that's interested, because some of the health benefits that you'll experience when you're having kefir on a regular basis is your metabolic health will be right. You'll be in good shape, you'll have good energy, because what they do is these little grains, they're like your best friend. They populate your gut. And for one, they're dominant bacteria, so it keeps out the bad bacteria from getting into your gut. And if you've ever taken antibiotics or anything like that, you kill off a lot of your friendly flora as well as the bad guys. And you definitely want to get fermented foods back into your diet as soon as you can, or even during the process, to keep the bad bacteria and fungus from proliferating. But what they do is they produce B vitamins for you. They make short chain fatty acids that your body can't really readily do on its own. And all those support your brain health, support your metabolic health, and just kind of help give you energy. Keeps you young. There's a ton of studies on the youth that you get from having the right gut. Your immune function is better because your immune system lives in your gut. So if your gut is in good health, then your immune system will be in good health. You won't get sick as easy, you won't have allergies as much, and so you just kind of stir them around. Try to get all the liquid out. And you can use regular milk that you bought from the store, whole milk preferably. However, the grains, they like the raw milk. If you can get raw milk, look at your local farmers. There's a couple of resources online that you can look at to find out if there's raw milk near you. Realmilk.com is a good resource to go to. You can search by location and see which organic dairy farms are around you that would provide free milk, and all their contact info will be there. So then you just have to call the farmer, go out there. They'll kind of show you what their process is. Usually they just have a bulk tank that they fill up, And they got a milk truck that shows up every other day or so to empty it. And in Minnesota, you just bring your own containers, fill them up yourself from the tap, and leave a donation for the farmer. Usually, the farmer I get mine from, it's about $5 a gallon, is what he asked for. So, and what I do is I'll buy 3 gallons at a time, and I'll make a jar, 1 quart of kefir every day. So 3 gallons lasts me almost 2 weeks, and raw milk will last in your fridge for about 2 weeks, so it's just right. And then if I ever run out of grain or out of milk, what I'll do is I'll save a little bit left over, so I won't use all the milk, and I'll put those into a jar and keep them in the fridge, and they'll last in the fridge for about a week before they eat up all the sugar in the milk and start to starve. So you'll want to replenish them after a week. You can freeze them if you're going to be gone for more than a week. Say you're on vacation for a couple of weeks, you can freeze the grains and they'll be okay. It'll take them a little while to wake back up, but I don't recommend doing it too often. Alright, so here's what we got. Here's what it looks like. Kind of looks like cottage cheese. So now that I got the grain strained out, I'll take my fresh jar here, brand new jar. Just kind of scrape off some of this so I don't make a mess. Fresh jar here, and just use the spatula to scoop the grains into it. These are the guys that are going to make the kefir. So I got the grains in here, and what I'll do now is add some fresh milk. So I got fresh raw milk here, I just picked up from the farm the other day. Just kind of give it a little mix because the cream will float to the top. So just gonna give it a little stir there. And then what I'll do is fill this up to the neck with milk. Now, this jar is now out of milk, so I'll have to run downstairs to the other fridge and grab fresh jar. I got a few more down there yet. It's a half-gallon mason jar, works well. You get your milk, and then if you have a cooler or something, if it's summertime, you can put them in there. So I will fill this up to the top. And then what I'll do is I put a little sock over it, a little crab sock, and then I'll store it in the cabinet. So you want to store it at about room temp. 70 to 80 degrees is about right. That's about what the grain's like. Any hotter than that is the grains don't really react too well to it. Any colder than that, and then it'll take them a little longer to ferment. And if it gets too cold, like the fridge, it won't make kefir at all. So it's about right there. Now what I'll do with this, so this is the kefir that I have in here. So just kind of give it a little stir, mix it up, and then I'll dump this back into the jar where I poured it out of. Now, I always like to just kind of scrape it out with the spatula, get every little bit, because it's good stuff, guys. This kefir it'll change your life, especially if you're not used to eating fermented foods too much. I always start off a little slow because your body it'll take some time to adjust. A lot of people can have die-off symptoms of the bad bacteria if they consume too much kefir right off the bat, if they have a lot of bad bacteria in their gut, because the interesting thing about bacteria is that it competes against other bacteria. And the nice thing about the bacteria that's in kefir is it's a very strong bacteria. So it dominates the bad bacteria and kills them. So if you have a lot of bad bacteria in your gut and you drink a lot of kefir, you could have die-off symptoms, which are kind of like detox symptoms, which can be uncomfortable. But now, here's the next thing I do. So I have my kefir in the jar. And you can use any kind of fruit. I like to use fruit because it has natural sugar, and the kefir thrives on natural sugars. So what this does, basically, I just add a few blueberries to it. Doesn't take much. And what that does is gives the kefir a little bit more food to kind of keep making more. So I do kind of a second ferment for just a couple more hours or so. Give it a little mix. Turns a nice purple color from the blueberries. And what this does is it kind of supercharges it. So it adds another type of sugar that the kefir can eat that makes it a little bit more powerful even. So what I'll do now is I'll just let this sit on the counter for about an hour or two more, and then I'll put it in the fridge, and then it's ready to consume. You could drink it the way it is right now too. It's not going to hurt you. It's warm because it's been sitting out fermenting. It's usually better when it's cold. And you can blend it into smoothies. The best way I like to do it is to add some more blueberries, some cherries, frozen blueberries, frozen cherries, and then I got a couple other prebiotic powders that I add as well that really give it a good flavor. I can show you what I put in mine. So this is one that really makes it taste good. It's Young Living Daily Prebiotic Fiber. So this has 5 grams of dietary fiber in it, and it's all natural. It's got some tamarind in there, and I blend that in with it just to give it a really good flavor. Apple peel. There's the Simple Reds. You can buy this off Amazon. It's pretty straightforward. Something about the red polyphenols, the red fruits, that the bacteria in your gut just love it. They go crazy for it. So I'll put a little scoop of that in there, and then this is some stuff I picked up online as well. It's called Prebio Plus. It has like organic inulin, organic acacia, and fructooligosaccharides, which are also found in fruits. And these are just prebiotics for your gut. Once you have the good gut, once you have the bacteria growing inside your gut, you want to feed it. So any kind of fresh organic vegetables and fruit have good fiber that those can feed on to help populate your gut and keep you healthy. So now that I have this, let that sit for a couple more hours. I'll put this one, once I fill it up the rest of the way with milk, I'll put it back in the cabinet tomorrow, and then I'll just repeat the process. And I'll show you what it looks like. I have some mixed up here. Yummy! So this is the blended stuff. I just throw it in the blender and blend it up with the berries and the powders. And my nephew thinks it tastes like candy. He's always asking for, oh, I want some of that candy kefir, he says. So it's great. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something new here. And until next time.